Yes, y'all, you know what it is. It's them kids and wives and 925s, but we are still married to the games. Episode 369. Up in her. It's your boy, Gabe Patillo, with Tim Router, Ed Placencia, and Chris McCracken, of course. And as always, we are talking games and life and games. Thank you guys so much for being here. And we're going to let this guy go first so he doesn't have to talk very much. If you've been watching his Twitch streams, which you should be doing, our boy Ed Placencia has been struggling for the last week and a half, it feels like, or 2 weeks.
At least a week, right?
Yeah, I remember, I think it was last year around this time when I got sick. I was sick for a few weeks.
Oh, man.
But then that was it. Like, once you went through this, I don't remember you being sick at all.
That's
like your annual illness.
Yeah. I for a little while, I had the same kind of thing where it was usually always around March. I would just always get sick for like a week right in that time. And I'd be like, geez.
Yeah, I usually get sick twice a year, and it's every time the weather changes from warm to cold and cold back to warm again.
Oh,
I guess the one good thing, if you want to look for a silver lining, is I know when it's going to happen, so I can prepare for it mentally.
Exactly.
Or something.
Right. Yes. But yeah, it's been a good week. I was not prepared as far as the cold goes, just because our friend Nick from Pennsylvania, that used to, he's in town this week.
Oh, nope, not that Nick. Sorry.
No, wrong.
I thought you meant our Nick.
No. And we know Nick just because he was part of our TV Tuesday group that we would have once a week. People would come over. To tell you a little bit of context as far as how long we've known Nick, he was there during the live Lost finale, watching TV.
Oh, holy crap.
So we don't remember exactly when he started coming over, but we do know it was when Lost was still on the air.
Everyone was confused around that time.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, we're all still trying to figure things out from then. So
yeah,
but it's been a good week. It's been really fun seeing him again and getting to hang out. And Nick, of course, is a gamer, and so he brought his Switch. I'm finally able to kind of get my hands on a Switch, and he brought his box of Labo.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Wow.
And so he came with the bird and the gun almost finished, put together. And then he got it's like a box with a bunch of different ones inside. I always thought that they were sold individually. I didn't realize you could get a box.
A bunch of them come together.
Like a bundle in a way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I knew that either.
There's only one or two of them that come as the robot is just the robot because it's so in depth. But then you'll buy one that's like the steering wheel and the fishing rod and the something and the something and it'll be 4 or 5
and the fork and knife and plate and
exactly right. So it was fun to kind of get our hands on it. It was just really cool. Sarah was very impressed just with, as Gabe was saying when he first got his, just the actual construction of the pieces. It's really intricate, very detailed.
It is. Yeah.
It's really cool how they work, how you're pumping the shotgun and stuff like that. It was really well done. Got to play a little bit of Mario Odyssey, and it was, I played, Nick started from the beginning for me, and I played the first, 5 minutes, and Nick likes the game. And he really enjoyed it, but I got about 5 minutes into it, and he was like, "This is pretty much all it is."
That's so not true.
Did you throw your hat on a Goomba?
I
onto a
did
frog?
not throw it on. I threw it on a frog. Yes,
yeah, that's the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he showed us. Then he went into a couple other levels, like with a dinosaur or the New York one, and it was just kind of cool to see the different areas. It looks a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
I genuinely wondered when Nick shows up, will I be like, oh man, I need to get a Switch? I'm not. It's cool to see what it does and what it can do. But at the same time, I don't feel like, oh man, I missed something. It's kind of like, I don't like these games are cool that he showed us, but I don't know if there's enough there that would really make me at the end say, that was money well spent because I've got all of these games I love so much.
Right. Yeah.
But it was really cool to finally get my hands on it at least and check it out. And the Labo, again, was really impressive just as far as the construction.
Yes.
And as someone who
which one did you build?
It's like a shotgun, like the pump action gun.
Oh, yeah. That's what you said, yeah.
And he had a bird that you kind of like flap the wings and you fly around.
Oh, birdie.
So yeah, Sarah really liked it a lot. But one of the first things Nick said, which is something again that we had said on the show, was you do have to hold it the whole time.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, wow.
And I guess if you use just the visor by itself, he said you can get like a third party strap to strap it onto your head, but it doesn't work with a lot of the actual Labo things.
Yeah, and it's probably heavy as crap.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So after a while, Sarah would say, "Oh man, this hand that's holding the gun, this one's really, I can feel it. I have to switch arms or whatever." And
she works out.
And she works out,
for a living.
Yeah, exactly.
Guns of steel.
Right. So yeah, it's been fun. While Nick's been here, we've been playing a lot of games. Watched him play. We said, Nick, we're glad you're here because we can't show a lot of our friends this game, and we had him play Trover Saves the Universe by the Rick and Morty people.
My gosh!
And all three of us were just laughing our heads off.
So great.
Enjoying the filth and the language, and it was just a lot of fun.
You did that on your Twitch stream, right?
I did, yes.
Oh my gosh, that game was incredibly. I
have to watch. Some of it.
It's so funny. Obviously, it's really wrong, but it's so funny. It's just so funny and random, and hearing stuff catch Ed off guard. Even
it's like so South Park, right? It's kind of South Park.
It's like Rick and Morty.
Well, Rick and I've never watched Rick and Morty.
Yeah, Rick and Morty.
Okay.
It's very different, is what Chris's point. It's not like South Park at all. It's filthy. Like South Park, but it's just so different. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Its animation style is kind of similar to Futurama and Simpsons, but not quite as cartoon-esque.
Right.
In a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've only seen a couple of episodes because I don't have access to a lot of it. But
when I told Nick how much improv there was in the game, then he found himself just putting the controller down and it was just funny just listening to what these guys would say because, when I streamed it, I kind of kept things moving, but it was fun just to listen to them go and go and go. And it was just a good time.
Is that on Netflix? It's a Netflix series, isn't it?
I
think it's on FX or Adult Swim.
Adult Swim. That's it. Okay.
They just got 5 new episodes, though, I think, that are coming out.
That's right. Yeah.
Sweet.
We played some Gears 5 last night. Gears of 5.
Gears of 5. The old 5 of Gears.
Yeah,
yes.
Cinco de Gears.
5th de Gear. Yes.
Cinco de Gears. I love it.
And that was a lot of fun. Neither Sarah nor Nick had played that before, and so that was fun just playing a little co-op action. Of course, before Nick got here, Sarah and I were playing a bunch of Borderlands 3. Still going to town with that. Having a great time.
Oh,
and then yesterday I picked up Concrete Genie, which I was really looking forward to. So much so that I accidentally bought Dreams a couple months ago because I thought that was Concrete Genie.
Oh, that's so funny.
Wow.
I saw the picture and I was like, this is that game that they showed, and I was really happy about
They
it.
look similar, yeah.
And it was really cool. It's a pretty short game. I beat it in about 5.5 hours. But it's really, really cool. It's definitely a game I'll go back to. As far as just being someone who likes to get all the collectibles and a level and what have you. They're pretty easy to do. It's a for the first 4 hours, it's a pretty chill game. You're, using your magic paintbrush and you're drawing some really cool things. And it's a pretty basic, just kind of I was saying on stream, man, this is a great game if you can't think of what to play, but you want to just kick back and relax and not really think. And then the last hour or so, it all of a sudden you learn fighting mechanics. You have to defend yourself, and it takes a total left turn.
Oh wow!
A couple bosses all of a sudden that I didn't realize I was going to even have to fight anyone. That I died multiple times too, but it was a good time. I read beforehand. One thing that I usually don't do is look at reviews, and I was reading all of the reviews saying, "Oh man, this game is the best. It's the best game of the year. 5 out of 5, 100 out of 100." And so I had my expectations slightly raised. It wasn't the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I really enjoyed it and would recommend it. So it was a lot of fun. Just be prepared that It starts off, you think it's a game that oh, wow, my kids would really enjoy this. It's a great game. And they would. But when the combat finally kicks in, it gets pretty tough. So just a heads up that it becomes a completely different game.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was very surprised. I didn't expect that at all, especially when you can tell you're nearing the end and you hadn't even learned a combat move. It was a little weird.
Weird. That is weird.
But yeah, but I really enjoyed it. It's a beautiful, beautiful game. It's another game that I popped into photo mode for like 4 seconds, and Lem, of course, was watching, and Lem has purchased it and is already hooked and spending a lot of time doing some gametography in there, and he'll get a lot of great shots. I know I will. But
yeah, he will.
Yeah, it's been a fun week.
There you go.
And I have this voice for a bit, which I haven't been doing many auditions.
You better, man.
Man,
You should do every audition that comes up now.
I could get some roles I would never get before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then when you're all better, they're like, hey, who is this guy?
I know, exactly. With my luck, I would audition, and 3 weeks from now, they'd be like, great, we love it. I got news. I can't do that again.
That's right. And that's when you just get that's when you get Gabe in there.
Exactly.
Hey, Gabe, get in there.
Yeah. Hit me up in the spring. I'll be back.
Yeah, exactly. Like this guy couldn't act as well as the audition for some reason.
Right.
That's
yeah,
funny.
good week.
There you go. Well, get better soon.
I will do my
man.
best.
Please.
But not too soon.
Yeah, right. Because I love hearing this.
I need you to record my outgoing voicemail first.
All right.
Exactly.
Stay thirsty,
have a
my
little
friend.
music
Stay
in the
thirsty.
background.
Oh, jeez.
You've reached Chris McCracken
Hey.
Oh yeah.
in a world.
Yes.
There you go.
Hey.
Oh, got it. We're doing this. I'm not
Yeah.
joking.
That's awesome.
The whole community just got butterflies.
That's right.
Chris McCracken.
Yes. Real quick, just to keep the oops at bay, Rick and Morty is on Cartoon Network.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you.
So it's part of the Adult Swim family, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So me. So life is a little bit more back to normal-ish now. I got a full-time gig.
Oh,
Hey, all
nice.
right.
That's
Congratulations,
great,
man.
man. Look at
The
that.
only downside to it
Won't
is
he do it?
if you guys remember, I had moved originally. We moved to this lovely house that we're in now because it put us so much closer to work. Well, I'm back to having the commute.
Oh, man.
So, but the good thing about that is almost all of my adult life working at a job, I've had to commute. I mean, that's you kind of get used to that here in DFW. So it's really not like the end of the world at all. And it means that I get back to listening to my podcasts because I used to, I basically had just gotten rid of all my podcasts. It's like, I don't have the time to listen to them anymore. So now I've got commute time to listen to podcasts again. So that's
There you go.
silver linings. That's what it's all about.
There it
Plus,
is.
I get to keep my house.
And you have a car that yeah, exactly. And you have a car that drives you there.
Well, yes and no. I do have the car,
Yep.
but Stacy's the one who drives that car. So
Oh.
Oh,
So
you've been booted.
she's driving to work.
So, yeah, like a 3-minute drive.
I know. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I just,
I'd rock, paper, scissors.
just like
her
you
for
guys
it.
have said numerous times, like the traffic here and the people don't really know what they're doing on the road. So it kind of makes me a little nervous to drive it an hour every day in crazy traffic. So I'm like, you know what? You keep it and you drive it. And the deal that we always made is it basically was the replacement for her car.
I got you.
To me, it's
right.
cool. Even though it would probably make a bit more sense just from like a saving standpoint for me to drive. I was like, I'd rather her have the most reliable vehicle and everything and know that she's good and taken care of.
There you go.
Yeah, it's down in downtown Dallas. So it's about, depending on what time what the traffic is, it can be like 45 minutes to 50 minutes to get there. So that part's a little wah-wah, but outside of that, it's actually pretty good. It's a small production company, a post house in Dallas. It's a really small team. There's only, I think I am the 6th person on the team.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That's great,
yeah,
man.
so vastly different from my previous experience at a big corporation with thousands of people that are employed kind of thing. So
So
it's
you're
the
a
early
shoo-in
days,
for the
but
lip sync battle, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't think they have a lip sync battle, so that's open bar. But don't you worry, I'm
doggone
going
it.
to be displaying my trophy once I, get my shelves and all that stuff set up.
Hey,
And
go.
I'm like, what's that? And I'm like, well, let me tell you, I got video on my phone.
Exactly. Don't
Allow me
stop
to show
believing.
you.
It just starts out of nowhere.
Exactly.
And then they'll be like, you're fired.
And I'm like, well, it was a good time, fellas. Thanks for the opportunity.
Seem like cool people.
Yeah, they seem like really, really cool people. They're all into gaming and whatnot. Every single
Sick.
person there, I think, games in one way or another, and multiple ways as well. Most of them have at least a gaming PC and then like a Switch and an X or a PlayStation 4. I don't know if anybody has an Xbox. I think at least one guy does, but they mostly, I would say, stay in the the Switch/PC world. They kind of bounce between those most. And because it's, every one of us commutes to the office, a lot of them will bring their Switch there. And I'm just the one odd man out. Like, I don't have one of those yet, but hey, I've got this Vita.
There you go.
You're like, oh, look at that little baby Switch. Oh, it's so cute.
It's so cute.
Welcome to 2009.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, but I can play Runner and Metal Gear Solid. So
right, guys,
that's been, it's only been this last week was like the second week, or actually, I'm sorry, this is the second week.
Nice.
So still kind of getting my sea legs and stuff around me and learning the processes. And they use an aspect of like a team project kind of thing, which I've never had no experience with before. So it's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's also exciting to learn some new things and to be challenged in a few different areas. So all that's good. Also working, still trying to secure a few freelance jobs I can do off hours, so if you will, like at home, just over at nights and over the weekends kind of stuff. And then any of the other side stuff that I was doing in between the time that I was unemployed, like side photo gigs or video gigs, any of that kind of stuff, still on the hunt for all those kinds of things and take them as they come.
Nice. And
just working, getting my nose to the grindstone, if you will, and hustling around trying to make things happen. On the gaming front, because I started a new job and I'm spending the extra time there to make sure I'm learning all the process and everything like that, I really haven't played a ton. Honestly, it's just like the same thing has been since February. I'm just playing Apex. Yeah. When I can play, that's what I'm playing. I haven't even jumped into Overwatch, it feels like, in probably a month or so. So I need to jump in over there. Stacy's been playing a lot of Don't Starve and Overcooked. She actually found out, she told me the other day. So I don't know exactly how it breaks down, but there's so many things that you have to do in order to earn the platinum trophy in Overcooked. And somebody that she was playing with, I think it was Jonathan, he looked it up for her and he's like, oh, out of the 92 things you need to do, you have like 84 of them. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go for the platinum in Overcooked.
Sick.
So she's working on grinding out to get her very first platinum. And she's been playing a lot of Don't Starve as well, which she really, really enjoys that game. So at some point I would like to jump in some Overwatch with her because, that's always a lot of fun to do, but she's kind of like busy working on that goal for her. And so I'm like, all right, I'll busy work on this Apex Season 3 ladder.
There you go.
And figuring out this dang map that I don't know where the heck I am and what I'm doing and where I'm going.
Nice.
But that's really been all that I've been doing on the gaming front. I did jump into a little bit of the Gears 5 because I bought that 3-month pass of the Ultimate Pass or whatever the heck you call it.
Yeah.
So I downloaded it and I jumped in there. I'm still like way early on. They had a tutorial you could do. And I was like, well, since I've never played a Gears, I should probably do this tutorial. And man, that tutorial felt long in the tooth. But once that was done, the game part started. I was like, okay, now this all kind of makes sense. The very first thing I did was go in there, figure out where in the menus I need to turn off the dang camera shake. And it's been great, without that.
Yeah.
I've never been like a huge fan of the games that really heavily rely on the whole cover mechanic system, like the snapping to the thing and all that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not enthralled with that. You have so much of that you do, but the gunplay itself and all that stuff is really fun.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely, I don't know that I'll finish the game because I don't know how much time I'm going to get to spend with it. And I'm not exactly sure how long it is, but I do want to get, in my opinion, if I can get to like halfway, I'll feel like, okay, I put in a good amount of time to the game, relatively speaking, with amongst everything else. So looking forward to that. There's a couple other games inside of Game Pass. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I did download several ones that I'm hoping to get to while my 3 months is going and then, possibly renew it after the end of that if I can find another deal. So,
nice, man.
I will report back if I get further in Gears 5 and try any of the other ones. But for now, it's really just been some Apex Season 3 and maybe a little bit of Vita here and there.
Very nice.
A little bit of Vita.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Router, are you in the second happiest place on earth?
I am in the second happiest place on earth.
Nice.
Yes, man. We it's Piper's fall break this week. So we drove down to Disney on Sunday. And man, it's been a lot of fun. We're staying at Saratoga Springs. I said that last week, and that's like right across from Disney Springs, which is their whole shopping area. So I'm literally looking at the Planet Hollywood restaurant and like the Cirque du Soleil building and all that stuff. It's right across from the little lake that they have. So it's really nice and convenient. And we got in at like 7:00 in the evening, so we just walked over there. We had reservations for one of the restaurants there, and it was awesome. So far, we've done Animal Kingdom. We did that on Monday, and then we did Hollywood Studios yesterday. So I got to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
How was it?
And it was incredible. I sent you like just 2 pictures. I didn't want to spoil it for anybody, so I just said, "Hey, Here's just 2 pictures. It's extremely immersive, very
so it's part of Hollywood Studios? Like
yes,
it's a section?
in Hollywood Studios.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's in Hollywood Studios, along with Toy Story Land is there as well. In fact, they're right next to each other, so it gets crowded over there.
Yeah.
But it was super great. I did the Millennium Falcon ride. I will say, like, the line said 60 minutes, and they haven't started the fast passes for that yet.
Oh wow.
What happens is if Galaxy's Edge gets too crowded, you can't go in there, and you have to sign up for a boarding pass, and it's basically a time later in the day.
Interesting.
It's just for crowd management. Now, fortunately, this and that's why we did Hollywood Studios during the week, because I would assume on the weekend it probably gets a little bit more crowded. So we decided to do it Tuesday because there's no wait, so we can just walk right in, and like you walk right in, and I'll find out soon, but I'm assuming it's a lot like Harry Potter, where you just boom, you're completely immersed in Star Wars land. It is very Rogue One-esque, which is really cool. Like it's like marketplaces, and like it's just kind of narrow areas, and then it opens up, and boom, there's the freaking Millennium Falcon, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. So like I didn't have, if we would have gone on the ride, great. If not, great, because I was just walking around looking at all the fine details that they did. I mean, everything down to the wire. Even the Coke bottles are all like these little. They're like spheres. They're like globes. They're kind of like Zenyatta's globes. And so,
that's pretty cool.
It's really cool. And all of the cast members, they're all in different like. It's weird, like marketplace garb and stuff. Some are wearing like these little headscarves, and you see Kylo Ren and the stormtroopers around. It's really, really cool. I had blue milk, which was awesome.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
it was
that
really. It's essentially a smoothie, and it's really good. And it's
okay.
Yeah, it's not like actual milk. It's thicker than that, and it's like a sweet smoothie. And you can get rum in it, which I probably should have had.
Hey-o.
But Piper wanted some, and she really enjoyed it. So
well, she could have gotten her own.
I know.
Yeah, then she'd have taken a nap.
Yeah, right.
Not with rum in it, Chris.
Yeah, right. Would have been arrested for that. But no, it was great. So we did do the Millennium Falcon ride. It was awesome. And man, their line management there, like it said 60 minutes. We were in there in 45, no problem.
Nice.
And the line moves quickly.
Cool.
There's lots of things to look and see, and you're half indoors, which is good because it's been kind of raining off and on all week.
Not in Florida.
Oh, never. No, especially at 3:00, and then it downpours, and then it gets really hot. And but yeah, so it was really, really fun and a real good time. We go to Universal today and tomorrow, so we are in Harry Potter land. That's all I like. All the other rides I really don't care about. Let's get through all of Harry Potter first, and then we'll get to whatever we want.
Exactly.
So that's kind of our goal there. And then Friday we'll go back to the Magic Kingdom, and then Saturday we drive home. So it's just we've had so much fun. Last night was the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. They closed the Magic Kingdom down at 7, and anybody who has the tickets for Not So Scary, they bring everybody in. You can dress up. I was a vampire last night, and my girls were witches. There were some great costumes. There was a full-on Guardians of the Galaxy family. And it was
really
incredible. Yeah, they looked so good. So Lauren and I always love walking around and like seeing who's got like the best costumes.
Heck yeah.
And just tons of candy everywhere. I mean, we went trick-or-treating, and they just have barrels of candy, and the cast members just grab a fistful and throw it in your bag. And it's sponsored by Mars, so of course they're going to do it. And so they get all the candy they want. So great time. We were there we didn't get home until about 1:00 in the morning. And I mean, because we stay because you can walk on all the rides by the end. It's great. They do a parade, the Boo to You parade, which is so much fun. So we always kind of snake a spot on Main Street and sit there right in front. And we had a caramel apple, and it was just it was so much fun. I love it. It gets you all ready for Halloween in the fall. And so it was really, really great. On the gaming front, it has been Borderlands 3 all day, every day. I haven't touched anything else, and just loving it. Last week I had told you that I was struggling with this one boss, and right after we recorded, I was like, I'm gonna try it, and I got it in the first shot. And
why does that happen? That's
right?
a weird thing. That's a gamer thing. I feel like
it is
happens.
A gamer thing. I think if you and I think it's just another lesson. Like if you just step away and then come back to it, I think you may just have a fresher perspective and you just think maybe a little bit clearer. But I'm on another boss and struggling with the same thing now, and I had to leave it before our trip. So like when I go back, it's waiting for me. So I'm curious if I'll be able to knock it out in the first round again too.
Right.
But man, it's such a great game. It is like I can just be playing this all day, every day. I'll just any side missions. Yep, I'll do that. Yep, I'll do that. Yep, I'll do that, and just keep going and just getting as much loot as you can, as many guns. There's so many guns, and just trying to figure out which ones work for you. And it's such a great game. I'm gonna just be playing this for a long time. Has anybody found out if Overwatch Halloween is up yet?
It is not. No.
Oh, still not.
No.
There was rumor.
I don't think they've even quite announced it.
They haven't even mentioned it. No.
Yeah. There was rumor that I saw that it was supposed to start this week. So I guess not. So
wow.
Maybe they're pushing it back to next week. But I do want to jump into that because that is always fun. Love to see what new skins they've got, and it's always a good time to do the Halloween season. So we'll see. But that's pretty much it for me, man. Hey, side note, I'm actually not recording in a car in Disney for the first time ever.
Oh, where are
There
you?
you go.
Really?
I'm in the other bedroom. It's a 2-bedroom suite that we got because originally Lauren's parents were going to come and they decided that they couldn't and they were like, you know what, the heat's going to kill us and we're just going to stay here. And we're like, okay. So we were trying to get a smaller room because a 2-bedroom takes up more points on our Disney Vacation Club, but they're like completely booked. So we just kept it and so we've got another bedroom. So Lauren's like, yeah, just go in there. You're not going to bother us, and they can't really hear anything anyway. So so it's good. So I'm actually in a room and I'm not in my car in the middle of nowhere in Disney, which is awesome. So that is it for me, Mr. Patillo. What you got?
Oh man, whatever I said the last 2 weeks, same thing. Except for this week. Except we start what do you call it? Rehearsals. For so we gotta like squeeze all our rehearsals in these next 3 days because we only have 3 days before we take off to Canada next week. We have we have the Dove Awards, which is like the CCM's Grammys, and so we have that on the 15th. And then the 16th, Jenny leaves for Waco.
Nice.
The 17th, we leave for Canada. And so we'll be in Canada from the 17th till the 27th. So we'll be up there for 10 days. And so, we're just trying to like tighten some things up. It's, the rest of the fall is kind of like all in Canada, we do almost mainly churches. And then down here, we're also getting ready for our fall tour in November, which is all theaters. And so hopefully I get to see Mr. Ed in November.
Yeah, man. We're excited for that.
Yes, I can't wait. And
so you're stopping in Auburn, Indiana, huh?
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
I think it's Fort Wayne.
Yep.
Nice.
And so and so we'll so the next 2 months will be busy off and on. I think there's only 2 shows though that I'll have to do from the road, which is nice.
Right. That's not too bad then.
No, it's not too bad at all. Not like how not how winter will be. We're out on the West Coast and all that business. So that's going to be some duct tape situations. But
how many weeks is this tour?
This one's only so Canada's like 2 weeks, almost, and then November is 3 weekends, so we go right up to Thanksgiving.
Oh wow, okay.
And then, but like we have all of December off, which is nice, especially after just coming off a big break. So this is like
that'll be great, man.
Yeah, try to soak up the season. You know what I mean? Soak it all up.
That's right.
We're coming out of the fog over here a little bit. Obviously, we've talked about it for a couple weeks in a row now, but the life thing has been pretty crazy, and so I feel like everything doesn't hurt finally.
Yeah,
to where like everything was hurting before, and Chris is obviously going through the same thing. Kind of talked about it a little bit last night on Apex, and so just settling into that new normal before you hit the holidays and get wrecked all over again. So
yeah, right. I was gonna say
we are making it through. So these next couple days will be a little distant. When you get into rehearsals and then starting to travel again, sometimes it can turn to ships in the night with you and your spouse, and so trying not to be that, but it's been tough with everything. It's just when everything's a little numb, it doesn't help that then work kicks up pretty heavy, and then I'm gone until she goes to bed, and then we might see each other in the morning as I help and with the kids and get them out the door, but then head to rehearsals, and then again don't come home till she's in bed already. So if you think of a brother, throw a prayer up for that old marriage, that old marriage life. But yeah, besides that, man, it's been pretty regular over here. Apex, been really wanting to jump back into Astral Chains actually, but like anytime I bring that Nintendo into the house, boy, it's commandeered by the children. So
right,
the vultures take over.
Yeah. So it'll be nice to take that on the road and be like, oh, you're finally all mine.
Nice.
So yeah, nothing crazy over here.
Nice.
Router.
Yes.
You got it?
Well, of course.
Well, let's do it!
All right, new releases this week. We got quite a few for Switch, by the way. Burger Time Party. For the Switch. Call of Chulu.
Throwback.
And Reventure, all for the Switch, come out on, they're out now. Trine 4, The Nightmare Prince for the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And Trine Ultimate Collection for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Ukulele in the Impossible Lair for the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch.
Of course.
Concrete Genie for the PS4 and PSVR.
Oh, I didn't know you could play it in VR.
Yeah. I don't believe you can play the whole game, but there are a couple modes you can play.
Oh, interesting. Cool. Did you try that?
No, but I can't even imagine how awesome it looks.
Nice. So you will try it probably?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Nice. Man, his voice is good. Anyway, a Knight's Quest for the PC.
Stop routing his tracks.
I know, right? Look at that.
Like, oh.
There's nothing against your regular talking voice?
No, not at all.
Oh,
it's just different.
Yeah, okay.
Trust me, I wish it stayed like this.
I know,
Trust me.
You be living here, man. Come on. A Knight's Quest for the PC, PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. Eterno Blade 2 for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch. Beast Quest for the Switch.
Ooh.
Frostpunk Console Edition for the PS4 and Xbox One. Grid for the PS4 and Xbox One. And Killer Queen Black for the Switch. And let's see.
I wonder if Killer Queen, that's not Killer Queen from the arcade, is it?
I think it is.
I thought that was coming. Is it finally here? I thought it maybe came a long time ago.
It comes out this Friday. So
that's a fun arcade game. Yeah. I don't know if this is the same thing. Oh yeah, it is the same thing.
Nice.
Sick. Oh, that game is fun.
Speaking of arcade games, this day in gaming, let's get to it. 27 years ago, on Tuesday, October 8th, because that's when we do our new releases, is on Tuesday. The arcade game Mortal Kombat came out.
Whoa!
Wow.
There it is. Chris is going. 27 years. October 8th, 1992, Mortal Kombat.
92?
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat came out?
Yep.
Wow.
Sub-Zero.
Raiden
wins.
13 years ago, October 8th, 2006, for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox, Scarface, The World Is Yours.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then 6 years ago, October 8th, 2013, we were in our infancy, PlayStation 3, Beyond Two Souls.
Oh,
And
yeah.
for the PlayStation 3, Disgaea D2, A Brighter Darkness. So there's your little trip down memory gaming
Very
lane.
nice.
Yep, there you go.
I like it.
That is it for me. Back to you, fellas.
Christopher.
Do you want to start with yours or the thing that you had?
Sure.
Yeah,
The fun one or the regular one?
the regular one, and then we'll move. That'll transition nicely into mine, and then we can finish up with your other one.
There you go. Look at that teamwork.
Woo!
See how that works?
Making it happen.
So we've talked about, obviously, remote play coming to iOS, and we talked about iOS 13 opening up, being able to use the DualShock or I don't know, does the Xbox controller have a name?
You know what? I don't think that it does.
Well,
I know I think the Elite one's the only one that does because it's the Elite version.
The Elite.
But yeah, I don't think the Xbox One controller has a specific name.
we'll call it the Duke the Third.
There you go, Duke
I like
the
it.
Third.
Duke the Third. So you can use the DualShock 4 or Duke the Third on iOS devices. But with this week's PS4 update, you can now remote play finally on Android as well. I don't know if you guys remember, but I did a video of remote play on the Android before, but it was like this real wonky workaround, and it was like, you had to do all these things. You had to jailbreak your phone and all this, that's not really worth it. Especially since it wasn't actually supported at the time.
Nice.
But you will be able to remote play. And it happened last night. I thought because they kept saying 7.0 was coming this week. And so you didn't really know what this week meant. And so it dropped yesterday, right before I was trying to play some Apex. It was one of those times where I had like 30 minutes. And I was like, ooh, let me run outside, because I'll run outside, I'll play some Apex, then I'll run inside, I'll shower, and then I'll head to rehearsals. And then you sit down and you've got 2 updates to do. One was Apex and one was the PS4. And I was like, shoot.
Oh, right.
I'm only get 1 round in. And so, it dropped yesterday. So we have the remote play that's coming, and then we have the party features, which got upgraded. You always could only have 8 people in a party until now. Where you can have 16. And it was funny because me and Chris were talking about it. We were like, man, I don't know if we would ever see ourselves getting up to 16 people, but we have our good buddy Eduardo that does a Twitch stream every day. And we could definitely see him getting up to 16. 16 sounds like a madhouse to me, but it also sounds like it could be great with the right people.
Well, and also just because when you get 8 people even that or 10 people that want to play Overwatch, now if we do a custom match, we can all talk to each other, kind of, trash talk as we're going against. And that's what I'm really excited about, is the Overwatch that we can do with each other. And rather than, okay, I guess we have to split up into different teams now. And if we change the teams, we got to switch up again. So this is going to be awesome.
Yeah. Cause what's 12?
Yes.
So is there, 16, granted, I'm not necessarily complaining, but it feels like they just straight doubled it. Is there any game where it makes sense to have 16 people in a party? Can you utilize that? Because to me, it just seems like past 12, you're getting people that are playing other games and you're really just in the party to chat, which I know there's people out there who love doing that. I myself cannot stand that. I need people playing the same game as me. Otherwise,
with you.
Yammering doesn't work for me.
Seriously.
But it's like 16 is just like, I guess great. If you can do it. But why would anybody go to 16?
I think that, for me, if I was somebody over at Sony, I'd probably give myself the buffer, because probably what we're seeing, I think a lot, is the preparation for next gen, right? And so they weren't going to keep it at 8, and maybe they're just giving themselves a buffer. I'm with you guys. Like that's a lot of people. And like, if you get the wrong 3 people out of 16, they can ruin the whole chat, right?
Yes.
Whether it's like playing music really loud in the background, or they're playing a totally different game and they're trying to, that was the one thing that used to kill me about getting in large parties, was even with 8 people, when you have 2 people in there that are playing Apex and you have the rest of the people that are playing Overwatch, it's just like, and I don't know everybody's voice that good to know, ignore when he's saying over here, over here, over here. You know what I'm saying? Because they're playing something different.
I'm just not good enough at games to try to concentrate and listen to you playing a different game. I'm not that good. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. And I didn't realize that there was a need for more people in a party, that they would double it anyway. So it's like, okay, fine.
There definitely was. There's a lot of games, like Ed was saying, where the teams will be 6, and then you can double it up and do like a custom map.
Right.
And there's a lot of other games that have way more on your team than 6. But like, shoot, man, if you're playing like ground assault or ground war, whatever the heck it's called, like in Battlefield,
20 people.
It's like, whew, 16 people on one team. That's a lot of talking. It's just like, even if you are playing the same game on the same team, the same objective, it's like there's got to be a lot of over talk and stepping on, and are you talking to me, Joe? Or,
right.
Seems a little nuts.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, if you can do the buffer, I guess. Go for it.
Yes. So the only thing I'm wondering about this remote play, and I haven't tried it yet, can you do it without a PS4 controller? Because
you can do it without.
Huh?
I believe you can do it without. I mean, well, I guess I don't know for sure the Android, the one that's now been opened up to other phones besides just the Sony Android phones, but on iOS anyways, it has touchscreen controls. Or you mean like use a different controller?
Yeah, like I've got the 8-bit dough controller that I love. That's got, I think, every button besides, obviously nothing else has the touch pad, but it's got an extra button as if you had the touch pad. And so I'd actually rather travel around with that than have to buy another controller that's now just for my phone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I know that with the iOS one, you could only use the PS4 controller.
Well, no, it's actually, if I understand right, I have not used it myself. My understanding is that when you're using the Remote Play app on iOS, you can't use the DualShock 4.
I thought you could.
I don't think that you can, unless you're in the same house where it's actually connected to the console. Like it won't let, because on the PC, when you do Remote Play, or the Mac, because I think Remote Play works on both of those, you can use the controller, but you have to plug it in. And on the phone, you can't plug it in. And
you have to use the PS4 controller.
Yes. But on the phone, and then I'm assuming maybe it's different on the iPad because maybe they make a USB-C to USB micro connector or whatever. But my understanding is on iOS, you can't, because you can't plug it in the controller and it won't let you use it wirelessly with Remote Play specifically. And the reason that I say that is because I remember when I read that, I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. You just unlocked this ability, or, they together unlocked the ability Apple did to where you can pair the PS4 controller. But you're telling me I can't use it for Remote Play on my phone?
This is what I'm reading. This is on the PlayStation blog. Also, players will be able to use their DualShock 4 wireless controllers via Bluetooth for Remote Play on Android, iPhone, iPad, and Mac.
It says for Remote Play?
Yes. Also, players will be able to use their DualShock 4 wireless controllers via Bluetooth for Remote Play on an Android, iPhone, iPad, and Mac.
All right, well, maybe I misread it, but I even watched a video where they said that you couldn't, but maybe it was just an early version of or something. Maybe it did have an update yesterday, so maybe it changed.
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking this is with the 7.0 launch.
Yeah, maybe.
That it changes these things. It says all you need to do is update to Android 10, iOS 13, iPad OS 13, or so maybe it's with all that. Because everything I've seen is the Bluetooth, the DualShock and the iPad in the same picture. And so the fact that you wouldn't be able to do that seems weird to me. Seems like that's the only, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because when I saw that, or when my understanding was different, I was like, I'm not going to play it without the DualShock 4. I don't understand.
Yeah, and see, I'd actually like to play it without the DualShock 4. So I'd like to see if I can use the controller I carry with me already. Instead of adding another controller to the fray. Because that BitDo one is so great because it works with the Switch as well. It fits nicer in your hands, I feel like, than a Joy-Con does. Unless you take both Joy-Cons off and put it in the Batarang and then use it. So, what else you got, Christopher?
Okay, so
wait, quick question.
Oh.
With this, and I know Xbox has had this for a while with the streaming and everything like that. do we think that consoles will be around long enough to be just streaming boxes? In the sense of where, like, I would love to just put my PlayStation 4 and Xbox or PS5 in a closet someplace, hardwired to the internet and not having to plug it up to the television. But
like how you hide your router.
Yeah, exactly. The same way I hide my router, I would love to hide my consoles. Especially if we're looking at an all digital future. But because I feel like the connection speed between my television, let's say, or my laptop or my phone and something on the same network is going to be faster than streaming something from, let's say a PlayStation View or, Google Stadia from the internet to my house.
That's a good question.
I kind of like it. I like the idea.
So you're saying basically like your PS4 is in the closet, your media closet where all your things are that are connected, and you're just digitally like shooting the signal wirelessly to your TV and playing with the controller or whatever.
Right. Instead of.
Yeah. I think that absolutely is a thing that will happen somewhere down the road. I don't think it'll happen soon or even next generation, because at the moment, I don't know that there's any way to do a wireless input. So you still have to either use an app that is on the television to access it that way. Mm-hmm. And my experience, granted, I'm not buying TVs all the time, but I bought a new 4K TV last year, and even that interface is like, there's just some lag, slow, doesn't really work all that great.
Jank. But
so until that gets fixed, or is better, or there's some type of like a digital or virtual input that you can access where it's like, in a way, it's just beaming straight to that virtual HDMI input or something weird. I think that will have to be tightened up a little bit before that became like ubiquitous. But I mean, I could absolutely see that being the case somewhere down the future.
Yeah, I just didn't know if consoles will be around for that future.
Yeah, like, I mean, by the time it gets to that point, you probably will just be connecting to Sony servers or Xbox servers or Stadia servers or whatever.
Part of me believes this is the last console generation as we know it.
Yeah.
As like, Nintendo puts out one, Sony puts out one, Microsoft puts out one, especially with Sony and Microsoft putting theirs out together almost every single time.
Yeah.
I feel like this might be the last time we see that, depending on how streaming takes over,
Yeah.
All right, Chris.
Could be. All right, so we got some information from Sony. There was a post on the PlayStation blog yesterday, pretty early in the morning, by Sony president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, Jim Ryan. And he said, "Today I'm proud to share that our next generation console will be called the PlayStation 5. We'll be launching it in time for holiday 2020. He goes on to mention that, like, obviously, we talked about that we're having a new console, and there was a lot of speculation about the name. He's like, and it's like everybody expected it to be PS5, but I'm just saying that now I can actually say that, and it will for sure be launching in holiday 2020. And they followed that up. It was kind of weird. You would think that they would want to just control the message and put it all out there since they're making a blog post. Yeah. But it was tied into yet another Wired story. So Wired, yet again, got an exclusive. I thought that was
so weird.
Yeah.
They've got something with Wired, so they're real buddy right now.
Does Sony own Wired like somewhere?
Not that I'm aware of.
No,
I don't think so. It's just,
I thought this was weird too. I was like, why not just, you have a blog that has a massive email list. Maybe Wired's is bigger because they handle so much stuff, but I thought that was really interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, basically the blog, it's a shorter version. It's not quite as in-depth as the Wired article, but it covers a lot of the same stuff, just in a truncated version. So it's like, okay, well, I guess maybe they just have a lot of value in Wired and it being the big tech news place that it is. But anyways, they gave Wired yet another exclusive, a few hands-on things, and they had another talk with Mark Cerny. And Cerny wanted to kind of clarify some things right here in the beginning. And because if you remember back when they originally announced the next version PlayStation, which at the time we didn't know for sure was going to be called the PS5, Mark Cerny had mentioned that there's going to be ray tracing and just kind of left it at that. And that, of course, that made a lot of people speculate because ray tracing as it exists today for the games and systems that can actually play it, it's all hardware accelerated. And there was some speculation, you're saying it's going to have ray tracing, but it's probably going to be some software emulation version of ray tracing. So thus meaning it probably won't be that good and won't be like anything we see today. And Cerny just, while keeping his comments quaint and like really short, not giving away too much. He did say there is ray tracing acceleration in the GPU hardware, which is, I believe, the statement that people are looking for. So confirming that, at least in theory, it should be done on the PlayStation 5 the way that it is done on current hardware that can do it on PCs. Obviously, probably not to the same level, but in the same manner, which happens, not like a faux version.
Well,
of
and
ray
by
tracing.
time it comes out, you know what I'm saying? Like we're talking about next Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like people are bringing it out now. So if the pieces that they're putting in there are made at the tail end of this year, going into the beginning of next year, middle of next year, you know, and anybody that's built a PC knows once you build it, it's out of date.
Right.
But so hopefully, because this ray tracing thing at home is newer anyway.
Yes.
So hopefully, I've just got my fingers crossed that like they really do their due diligence on, because the last thing you want is to be able to add something like ray tracing, which is amazing, but it be so new for bringing it home that it causes all kind of issues a year down the road where stuff is melting on the, you know, whatever on the inside.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to have the issues that may come along with it. So
yeah,
hopefully it'll be like fully baked,
like
or maybe not fully baked, but pretty well baked, like 3/4 of the way baked.
Yes.
And understood by the time that we're all bringing these different devices home that can, you know, with the potential of being able to do kind of the similar thing to what these big beast machines are capable of doing. So outside of that, they just gave a few more small details, nothing super crazy. It did say, or Mark Cerny said, that physical discs for PlayStation 5 will use 100 gigabyte optical discs. Inserted into the 4K Blu-ray player, which is a big deal for Sony, which is strange that it's a big deal, but they're now confirming that they have a 4K Blu-ray player when the PlayStation and PlayStation 4 and 4 Pro do not have a 4K Bluray player.
Right.
So it's a small thing, but it was definitely one of those things that just kind of said like, but it was like everybody who likes their 4K Blu-rays, they're like, oh, hey, that's good news. Yes, they're over there clapping their hands.
Yeah.
When it comes to game installation, you're going to have to install the game so that it'll run off of the CD, which I think is pretty much, I think everybody probably expected, because that's the kind of way you have to do it right now as well, and it's not even a fast SSD. But this time around, it'll be aided in part by the way that the game data is done. So basically, developers will not have to reduplicate all these things, and they're trying to cut down not just load times, but also how much developers have to do to kind of trick you and keep you in spots. Like, for instance, when you're in a game and it's like, oh, I've got to go from this area to this area. Oh, there's this crack in the wall. I'm going to slowly go through this crack, when really what the game is doing in the background is taking that time to load up the next area. They're saying that developers will not have to do a lot of those same kinds of tricks to make things slow down. It's all about just moving you to the next section, the next section, the next section as fast as possible. And that's one of the things that the SSD is really going to allow developers to be able to take advantage of.
And I thought it was interesting, too, that they said that there'll be a lot more, you know, kind of like on Windows, where it's like, would you like to install this and this and this? And you're like, yes, just this.
Right.
I thought it was interesting that he talked about, and this is probably what you were about to get to, installing, you know, say Call of Duty of 2020 or 2021, really. You know, saying, I just play the multiplayer. So just install the multiplayer part.
Yes.
Don't worry about
I thought that was cool.
The whole game. That's interesting.
Or even in some ways a bit further than that, just being able to delete just the thing that you want.
Yeah.
Which is in some ways even better. Like, I'm kind of like you. If I download or I buy a Call of Duty, and if I'm planning to play the campaign, like once I've played it once, I pretty much don't go back. And all I play after that is the multiplayer. Yep. I would love to be able to just remove that off there.
That's good, yeah.
Also, save considering the fact that the SSD, and we have no idea the size of it, it might kind of be almost out of necessity that we have that ability, because you might be like clamoring for that space.
Yes. Because they can't go smaller than 1 terabyte, though, right?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. You would think not, but there's been a lot of companies that do a thing, and then you're like, but why did you do that? And I'm sure that it's going to come down to cost. I mean, if 1 terabyte custom SSD is going to be crazy expensive, and they're trying to keep the cost sticker shock, you know, a little bit at bay, then they'll keep it low, which is going to end up meaning, if that's the case, like data management. Like, you're going to have your external drive, and you have to, the game I'm playing, I move over, and the games I'm not playing, I move back, or whatever.
Well, and the thing that sucks about that, too, that maybe I haven't thought about till you just said data management. My external hard drive is not a SSD.
Neither is mine.
So it's a regular RPM hard drive.
Yeah.
And so I wonder
to
if
some
that's
extent it doesn't even matter, because if it's all the current consoles are using USB 3, so you even if you had a faster SSD, you're still bottlenecked there.
right.
Now
And
we
so
don't know what kind of connection this is going to have necessarily, but
exactly. But I would imagine that anything outside, where you know now,
Oh, yeah.
what's weird about the hard drives is that they've done tests to where the USB 3 at times is actually faster than the internal hard drive, especially if you're using a faster one. For the PlayStation.
Wow.
So if the internal SSD is supposed to be blazing fast, like they say, is this going to knock so much of that stuff down once using an external drive? Because not everybody's external drive is going to, not everybody can afford a 1 terabyte SSD to have sitting next to the, their PlayStation or their Xbox.
Right.
yeah. Now they did confirm that the new version of the DualShock, which they have not confirmed is called the DualShock 5, but we can just all assume it's going to be called that.
Yeah.
They did say that it is powered by the way that you charge the cable or connect it is a USB-C connector. So it's possible that there'll be USB-C on both ends, and that the input on the PlayStation 4 will be at least USB-C, if not a little bit better, because also Thunderbolt 3 uses that same connection interface. So it should be the connection to the device for something like an external hard drive should be faster than USB-C or than USB 3. But still, even USB-C is not as fast as what, at least not seeming like that could be even as fast of a throughput as what this custom SSD is going to have. And that you would assume that the Scarlett's going to have something relatively similar as well.
Yep.
But we'll see. So I'm going to read a little bit straight from this article about this part right here. When it comes to the way that game stuff's going to work and everything like that, it says, even though it will be fairly fast to boot games, we don't want the player to have to boot the game, see what's up, boot the game, see what's up. This is Mark Cerny saying all that stuff right now.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was getting at.
Yeah, he said multiplayer game servers will provide the console with a set of joinable activities in real time. Single player games will provide information like what missions you could do and what the rewards or incentives might be for completing them. All of those choices will be visible inside the PlayStation 5's user interface. As a player, you just jump right into whatever you would like. So if I'm understanding that right, like you'll just go to, let's say Call of Duty, and it'll show you the lobbies, the matches that are going, or like if it's let's say like a Red Dead or whatever, you'll be able to basically look at the map and see which things are going without the game actually technically being on. It's just streaming that data to the user interface.
Ooh.
That seems crazy.
I mean, that seems awesome, but that seems like data cap all day. Like not that you would actually be hitting it, but that's a lot of information running back and forth if you have to do it without even choosing it yet. And we have a little bit of that. We have a glimpse into, if I go to Overwatch, I can see that Ed's playing Overwatch and I can just say join, right? So I'm guessing this is just a souped up version of something like that.
Yeah.
Sounds it, yeah.
Because now that menu to me now is janky as crap. Like trying to use that or like scroll down and then it goes to like this box on the left that I wasn't looking at before. So I have to click over to the right. Then it's like grayed out and you have to like click down and like who else is on this list? I cannot stand the way the UI works now and with that in mind.
Well, that's one of the things that you have to keep in mind as well with this, because it's always this way. It was with the PS4, it was with the PS3. It's always this way where they introduce these cool features, which great, yes, they're awesome. This SSD and the speed that it has and all this stuff sounds great. The fact that at least as of now, we're going to assume that ray tracing, as we understand it today, is going to be a thing, and all that's cool. And it always works the best at the beginning of the generation for the most part, because that's when everything is brand new and the developers really haven't crazy taken advantage of it. And then later in the generation, not only do they understand it more, but then they try to layer more stuff on top of it, which eventually is going to become bottlenecked. That's the way that it is. Now, I will say that my interface is not quite as slow as yours it sounds like yours is. Now, granted, I am on the PS4 Pro, so obviously it has a little bit more horsepower.
And I'm on first gen.
But that's the way that it's been. Like there's features that came with the PlayStation, like where you could go to the store and you could do all this, and it worked way faster than it did on the PlayStation 3. Yes. Whereas now, closer towards the end of the generation, with way more data and way more developers and way more games taking advantage of all this stuff all the time, it's like at some point, like that promise kind of diminishes because so many things are still doing it. It's still all at the end of the day is going to come down to what can it all handle, how much data can it take at one time. So even if this feature works the way that we're kind of deciding that it does based on his description, somewhere down the way, it's going to get janky. It just is going to, because the game developer's going to be like, we can do all this. Let's push even more.
Yeah. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm going to be like, uninstall this feature.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you said, I could.
So, well, but I don't know. We'll just have to see how it's going to work.
There's still broadband out there that can be janky. Not everybody's got like blazing speed still. So there is still that issue. And I think that's got to be the number one issue that's going to continue to linger, in that not everybody has the speeds that they're looking for.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, you might as well shut it down. There's nothing you can do about it.
Or the ability, like I could do it. It would just look ugly, but like I don't have the ability right now to hardwire in to my router. Especially number one with me being out in the shed. Like, it's just I don't even have cable coming out here. And then, but even in the house, I would have to move a lot of things around.
Exactly.
Just because, we have time machines and all this stuff, to back up, and then you have the router, then you have your cable box and all that stuff. And you're like, shoot, man. But this is definitely leaning towards needing to be wired in,
Yeah.
They always suggest it anyway because it's the fastest way. But especially with all this data getting thrown around, if you want it to run smooth, it seems like you'd want to have that available at all times.
Yeah, but keep it in mind, too, that feature of being able to see, like, what possibly is available, like, it's supposed to be for single-player games as well. So it's not just reliant on the multiplayer stuff. You're supposed to be able to see, like, I don't know exactly how it's going to work, so I'm kind of spitballing here, but, like, maybe you could click on it and it would show you a little version of the map on like Red Dead 2. And
but I think that would still be
something.
some kind of data that they're pushing through just to show that to you. Almost like your trophies. Like your trophies, I think, should be in in the machine somewhere, but it's on the cloud. You know what I'm saying? So you have to like go to it and let it pull it down, and then.
But if it's showing you a mission on a single player game, what data is it pulling from online to tell you that? That's not in the game data that's on the system.
Because what I would imagine, this is just my imagination, but like what I would imagine is like it knows where you're at because of the save data and can show you a little thumbnail of that area that's, kind of already created. Just like you would a YouTube preview. You know what I'm saying? Like even though you haven't clicked on it, but like it just gives you a little preview of that video, even if you're in Google or something like that. Does that make any sense, what I'm saying?
Yes, that makes sense. Yep.
I can definitely see
it does.
that.
I'm just not following why that would have to do anything with being online. Again, for a single player thing, I'm assuming this is going to need to be built into the game, the ability to show that pulling from the data on the disc. That's how, for just the single player stuff. That's all I'm talking about, not the multiplayer stuff. Obviously, that's all going to be dealt with online.
Right. Yeah, I feel you.
But all of it's just speculation until we see a little bit more. This is all just words written in a Wired article.
I know, right? I did want to say though, I thought it was interesting how he talked about the controller, and the feedback you're going to get on the L2 and R2.
Yeah,
and how he talked about like some games can make it to where if you were pulling a bow back, there would actually be some like tension there in the L2 and R2.
Yep.
Is that something we need?
I mean, they have a variant of that right now on the Xbox One controller. It's actually one of their big features they touted when it was launching. Now, I don't know about tension per se, but like if you're playing Forza, you can feel like when you hit the brakes real quick, like it feels like the brake stuttering or whatever on the adaptive triggers, I think is what they call it. So it's really more just them kind of catching up to like the HD rumble of the Switch, and then that kind of some of those features that the Xbox, the Duke 3 is currently using.
Duke the Third.
Yeah, excuse me, Duke the Third. Now, whether or not you need it, I mean, I don't know that you need it, but I mean, it's nice to have the few times it activates. It's like, and I have not used a Switch very limitedly, so I haven't really experienced something where I was like, oh, that HD rumble's amazing. But
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's kind of nice. Where it's like, oh, look, I can tell it does feel like there's several things in this Yahtzee cup when you don't really have that. I'm sure it's kind of cool.
Nice,
I always think it's interesting that unfortunately they pour, I would imagine, hundreds of man hours into figuring out HD rumble and that stuff and getting the rumble right under the triggers for it to be like, oh, that's kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel the same way. I'm like, oh, okay, that one time I played that one game on the Switch and they were like, guess how many balls are in this box? And I tilted it and I could feel it. Oh, that's dope. And then that's it for all that tech. You know, because I'd imagine it's really tough. It's kind of like, I don't remember what comedian was making the joke, but they were saying how like a color commentator will be watching a diver do this like quadruple something, not go directly into the water. And they go, oh, that's a shame. And you're like, they just did like 85 flips. What do you mean that's a shame?
Yeah.
You know, that's how I feel with HD Rumble. I'm like, that's cool. They're like, I could just imagine somebody pulling their hair out. Like, I spent hours upon days trying to figure that out. Right. And you're like, oh, yeah, there's 3 balls in that cup. Anyway, you know, kind of like the touchpad, I feel like, on the DualShock 4. You're like, do we use it more than just a button most of the time? It's just a button.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
One thing that I did like from this article is, now granted, he was using a prototype version of this next controller. He did say one of the first things the reviewer was saying, that it looks an awful lot like a PS4's DualShock 4, which I personally like hearing because I'm a big fan of the DualShock 4. It's my favorite controller, quite frankly.
Yeah, me too.
Every generation, like from PS3 to PS4, and then now even from PS4 to PS5, I always get nervous that Sony's going to bow to some of the vocal minority, in my opinion, pressure and swap it to where the sticks are offset, and I absolutely hate that.
Oh no,
I think that they will. I think they absolutely consider it, and the fact that this generation, for the first time ever, they had some officially, granted not made by Sony, but officially licensed, PlayStation licensed third-party controllers that offered offset sticks as the default, has made me think, okay, they're toying with it, and if they get a lot of feedback on that, I could totally see them doing it. Now, I don't think that's what's going to happen, especially with this comment that it looks an awful lot like DualShock 4, but I like that Sony gives me my inline analog sticks because that makes more sense to my brain. Just like my sticks being inverted makes more sense to my brain. It's the way God intended things to be, and that's the way it needs to be.
There you go.
And so, Sony, I know you're listening, Jim Ryan. You need to keep it that way, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't see them doing anything that would make people say, "Oh, now that's like Xbox." You know, I feel like that's one of the things.
Yeah, I can't see them doing that
think
either.
And again, I understand this is a small subset of the gaming community, but the people that are like really into the competitive gaming, like on Call of Duty or other ones where that is console based, really shouted from the rooftops in excitement whenever Sony partnered with Scuf and made an officially licensed Scuf kind of pro controller, and it had offset sticks. And then the same thing with the one from Nyko or whatever that company was. And then the one that Astro, they teamed with Astro to make. Now, the cool thing about Astro one is that it was modular, so you could make it offset or you could leave it the way it was. You could do whatever you wanted. And I'm all fine with that. If you want to allow people to move things around and fine, but it's like they got a lot of praise whenever that Scuf controller came out, and I was like, oh no. Not
so
this.
they should, but so then they should keep it like that as an offset. Like,
I hope so. Yeah.
Keep the DualShock the way it is, and then if you want that, there is that option, and I'm sure they're going to partner with people again anyway.
And I think of Sony, I think of the inline analog sticks, much like the square, triangle, circle, and cross button. I think of those as like, those are PlayStation brand identifying aspects. So to me, it would be crazy for them to change it. But at the same time, Sony crazy. So they sometimes do crazy things. So I can see them just flipping the script. It wouldn't shock me. But I really hope they don't do that.
It would shock me just from what Ed said. Like that would look like such a bite of the Microsoft controller that I don't think Sony could bear doing it, just to not even give them the satisfaction.
Well, it's also the Nintendo stuff has been that way for a long time too, because even as far back as GameCube, they had offset sticks.
Yeah. But here's the question though. Offset sticks, is it like a known fact that it's better that way?
No, it's an opinion, and it's a wrong one.
I couldn't agree more, Chris. I'm right there with you. Inline sticks is the way to go.
I don't know if there's been any kind of like
study
scientific data that's like, well, actually, we saw the range of motion, and according to 57 degrees Celsius, blah, 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 blah.
They should do some research just to see. I would be curious what the data shows if people prefer offset or inline.
Well, prefer is different.
Yeah.
That's true.
Actually better.
Yeah.
That's true.
We'll see.
Quick question before we get off this story. We've seen a couple drawings and 3D renderings of the PlayStation 5. To me, it looks ridiculous. Like it looks like it's trying to be a spaceship, and it's got the V in there, which stands for 5, and all this stuff. Do you guys need cool looking consoles, or do you just want now? There's a difference before I say this other thing, because I was going to say, do you need cool looking consoles or just a black box? I don't mean the Betamax that the Xbox One was at first. That felt huge and ridiculous. But do you guys need a cool looking console, or do you just want something sleek and that you could just put over there?
I don't need a cool looking because it slides into the entertainment center where you can't really see what it looks like anyhow. You just see the front panel.
Yeah, agreed. That's the same thing with me. It's like I don't need any crazy type of design. Keep it simple, guys. Keep it simple.
Even the original Xbox One, which is the one that I still have, like when I got it at first, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is massive. But then I put it in my entertainment center and I don't look at it again. So I don't even care that it was bigger. Like when they said the Xbox One S is so much smaller, I was like, cool, but whatever. Yeah, I'm not going to look at the thing anyways.
Right. Okay. Because I would imagine there's a lot of man hours go into that too. Like it really matters.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's one of those things that right in the beginning, I was like, oh, the PlayStation 4 looks so cool. And I do think it looks cool, but once you're using it and everything, it's just like, okay, well, it's kind of like you said, it's like the HD Rumble. It's like, that was cool when it was announced, but now I don't care.
Yeah, right. I have to tell this story just because it's I thought it was hilarious. And Chris didn't look it up, right? No. You didn't look at it, the story
No,
yet?
I've not looked at whatever this is.
So I'm going to ask you. This is a Jeopardy question. Every now and then, gaming makes it into Jeopardy, which, by the way, means we've made it. Just kidding.
Of course.
All right. So, you ready? The 7 rotatable blocks used in this video game have names like Orange Ricky, Hero, and Smash Boy.
So I'm supposed to answer what that game is?
Yep.
What? Well, I mean, I don't know about the Orange Ricky and Frank Julius or whatever those are. But the rotatable blocks makes it sound like what is Tetris or something.
And you would be right and would have won $800.
There we go.
Hey.
So you should.
Unless it was Double Jeopardy. Or what is it?
I don't know.
Double Dare or whatever the heck.
Double Jeopardy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You answered it with the confidence of the girl who answered it.
Yes.
Oh, really?
She said it the same way. What is Tetris? Because the context clues would let you know that it's Tetris. So this ties back to a instruction booklet found by this guy on Twitter that goes by at Vecchitto or something like that. Vecchitto, right? He's like, instruction booklet, open it up. He's like, look what I found. It's got the old thing. He goes to the back page and it shows the Tetris block names, which I didn't know existed.
I didn't either.
So there's Orange Ricky, Blue Ricky, Cleveland Z, Rhode Island Z, Hero is the straight one, Tiwi, the one that's shaped like a T, and then the block is Smash Boy. And people were like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that they have names. They don't have names.
What?
It's a fake tweet. The guy just photoshopped it, and the people over at Jeopardy found it and used it as a question.
Wow.
And it's not.
That's amazing.
Real. And so somebody went on there and was like, wish this was true, but sadly, and he brings out his Tetris, book, and he's like, goes through it, and the person replied to him, says, technically, all you've proven is that one of us is a liar. And, then
that's funny.
People start finding their booklets, and he keeps replying as people put up new booklets. He's like, well, technically, all you've proven is that at least one of us is a liar. Like, saying all these people. And
that's really funny.
I just thought it was so funny that Jeopardy, which, is held in high esteem when it comes to game shows. You have to remember Jeopardy is the one that came out and said that Who Wants to Be a Billionaire was too easy when it first came out. And then they challenged Alex Trebek to come on the show, and he obviously declined. Because, they made it a lot harder if Alex Trebek showed up.
Oh, right.
But I just thought it was so funny because this really is a great Photoshop job. For me, when I first saw it, the first thing I thought was like, oh man, those blacks look a little clean and dark for it to be, a booklet out of the 80s. And that the number on the page, number 12 looks a little crisp. But like, if you're just flying around the internet This totally would have passed as something that was real. And so I just love that Jeopardy. Like, it doesn't even, like, when you think about it, really, it doesn't even sound real. Orange Ricky.
Yeah.
But don't they have fact checkers there, though? Don't they have, like, at least, it's not just one person, like, hey, I found this.
Yeah, but who's going to find the booklet?
Well, that's...
And care about, you know what I'm saying, video games enough to dive that deep. Orange Ricky, Blue Ricky, Cleveland Z, Rhode Island
Cleveland Z is good.
Yeah. Smash Boy, Tiwi, and Hero. Oh, my gosh. I thought that was so funny.
I'll just put my Z right here.
Yeah, and on the thing, she totally said it like Chris. Tetris? Like, that doesn't sound right, but the 7 rotatable.
Yeah, the names made no sense.
Right. Wow. Edward.
Yes, sir.
What you got for us?
Well, over on the Married to the Games YouTube channel, we've got Borderlands 3 Part 11 up there, and Concrete Genie in its entirety is up there.
Nice.
That you can check out.
There you go.
Back to you.
Perfect.
I know that's right. The least talking, the better. Every week we asked you guys a question. Last week was just a little different. We said if you've listened to our show over the last couple weeks, then you know that life has been whooping our tails. So please, let's talk about something good. Tell us something good, and we'll talk about it on episode 369. Over on Twitter, we got super listener Chad at ChadFackler1. With my new job, I get to play with dogs and puppies almost every day. So no matter how bad a day you are having, getting to play with a puppy can make it all better. I also just tune into an episode of Married to the Games or Ed on Twitch, and that makes for a better day as well. We appreciate you. Appreciate you, Chad. Of course, always giving us a shout out. Andy T at Carthanus, I don't know. After barely surviving a horrible divorce 2 years ago, I have a new family, a new church to go to, and just bought my first house.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Rise from the ashes, man. I love that.
And I got to say this one for Chris because I think it's sweet and it's happened in our household. And so hopefully it's happened in Chris's too. This is Jenna Kirby, Sister Bread fan.
Yeah.
Following our dad's passing, I think Chris and I will be even closer, which means I will be closer to Stacy too. And let me tell you this. When you get Chris, you get Stacy, and that is a freaking bundle.
Yeah, it is.
That might be the best deal going.
There you go.
Over on Facebook, Scott Bors, in September 2018, my wife Heather was diagnosed with breast cancer. After 3 surgeries, 13 rounds of chemotherapy, and a month of radiation, she is cancer-free.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hallelujah.
Love that.
Golly, after all that, gracious. Yeah, thank God. Katie Meeks of Katie and Kale fame.
Woo.
I'm going to finish my master's degree in 2 weeks.
There you
Oh,
go.
let's go, Katie.
Right.
Let's go.
And yesterday was her birthday.
Oh,
Hey,
Yeah,
happy
it
birthday.
was.
happy birthday, Katie. God bless you this day. That's from The
played.
Simpsons.
Yep.
Blair Hummer, my wife is pregnant.
Yeah.
Hey.
Congratulations, Blair. Carlos Emmanuel Navarro, my wife and I have a gender reveal party this past weekend, and we're having a baby boy.
Nice. Look at that.
They said we're so excited. That's awesome. Good for you guys. Over on Discord, Lucas Ham, my kids took their next step in their journey to nerddom. My daughter bought her first comic book with her own money, hardcover copy of Star Wars Episode 7, and as a family, we watched the first released Star Wars movie, A New Hope, and the kids loved it.
Oh, yeah.
The next day, they were already ready for the next darker chapter in the Skywalker saga. The Force is strong in these little Padawans.
Love it.
I like it. What? Stumpwater Jack? I'm getting married next weekend, And I'm going to Oktoberfest for my bachelor party this weekend. Stumpy, I had no idea.
No way.
What?
Road crew, congratulations.
Awesome.
Oh, Gonzo, congratulations, buddy. I had no idea you were getting married.
Nice.
Road crew secrets?
Road crew secret.
I know, I haven't seen him in forever.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I love it. And Chris will kind of be able to relate to this. He'll be able to relate to the pain of it at least. MTTG Street Team. After a year of interviews, waiting some more, and still waiting, I'm finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and I am within a few weeks of starting a new job for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Nice.
There we go.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh,
That's great.
Come on with all the good
I love these, man.
news. Goodness gracious. And I love that Barnaby put up a picture of his godson on the Discord, and everybody thinks he had a baby.
Yeah,
Right.
that was funny.
Yeah, congratulations. Hope mama's feeling good. You're like, oh, they're not even actually in my blood family.
Let me tell you what a godson is.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much. We needed the uplifting around here. So glad to hear of some of these amazing things. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of things going on good in this community. And so it is nice, definitely nice to hear. You know where to find us. Facebook.com/Married to the Games. You can come join the Married to the Games community group. It's great. It's on and popping in there. I'm telling you. Twitter.com/MTTGcast, like Ed said. YouTube.com/Married to the Games. MarriedToTheGames.com, of course. Now on Patreon, if you want to come support us, Patreon.com/MTTG. We are having our 400th celebration the weekend of May 16th and 17th. If you can make it, we would love to have you. And actually, there is a chance that there's only limited seats on this one. I don't want to say any more just yet.
No.
Official details coming soon. And you guys make all those happen. It's so much fun.
Yep.
And Tim.
Rate us on iTunes and listen to Ed's voice, and we will guarantee that someone's going to get pregnant.
Those storks are going to be busy.
Yeah, those storks gonna be they'll be flying around, wings tired.
Keep staying sick, Ed. Keep staying sick.
Dragging the ground. Dragging babies on the ground.
That's right. That's good.
Well, let's get into some questions.
We're going to start with Discord. Small Genie 549. If you woke up as president tomorrow morning, what gaming-related law would you instate as your first act in office?
There's so many jokes.
Right.
Let's see. If I woke up as president,
law.
What gaming-related law would you instate?
I think I would separate out video games from mental health issues. You're no longer allowed to combine the two when something bad happens.
Yeah, it's not an excuse or
you can no longer say they no longer can go together unless we're talking about how they've used video games to help PTSD for people that have been in the army and seen terrible things. We can't compare that to the anyway. Don't get me started. Go ahead. Somebody else, Chris.
I would eliminate companies that they would not be allowed to have data caps. That way, that your online gaming could be free and not limited.
That's clear.
Yeah, free and clear. Wouldn't have any limitations on your online gaming.
I like
there you go,
Edward.
Much like with the Oscars, only cinematographers vote for best cinematography. Actors vote for acting. You are not allowed, it is illegal to make a mean tweet or a mean online post about anything in the industry unless you work in that industry and know what the freak you're talking about.
Could you imagine what the world would be like?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, like even down to fast food workers.
Right.
Like if you don't work there, you don't get to say how they should have done something.
Right.
But then
Yeah,
none of
like
us
that.
could talk bad about the president because none of us are presidents.
Yeah, right.
It would have to go all the way around Edward.
Yeah.
That's true.
We'd be like, man, that looks like a hard job. I'd love to say something about it, but I can't because I've never been a president before. Which probably also would be a good thing for us as a country.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Tim?
I would have more funding for like video game programs, like be it like inner city, like kids can come in and play games.
Oh,
like,
there you go.
Like education on technology, education on development and coding. I think if we put some funding together for those kind of programs, that'd be amazing.
I like that.
Because that would help support video games.
Yes. Yeah. I think especially in the inner city, that'd be really
That'd be
needed.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Vetstone, trying to be a good steward of my money, I am thinking about holding back on most of the upcoming releases in preparation for the PS5 next year and buying most of these games for the PS5. Money aside, I'm concerned that my OG PS4 may not be able to handle these new games. Control was reported to really chug on the original PlayStation 4.
That's what I heard too.
Assuming these new releases are really pushing the limits of the PS4, what would you do? That's a good
I've
question.
actually considered the same just because they officially announced that, 2020 holiday is when it's supposed to release. I was like, man, would it make more sense to just wait till then to get Last of Us 2? But man, that ain't happening.
I know, it's tough.
That's not.
I think you just pick and choose, honestly. I mean, if that's your mindset, like Chris is saying, get the things you have to get. Like, I have to get Final Fantasy VII. Like, even if backwards compatibility
So do I, apparently.
Yeah, you do. Like, even if backwards compatibility is what we think it is, like, when you say full backwards compatibility, I think buy a PS4, put a PS4 game into it, and play the game. That's what I think of when I think of full backwards compatibility.
Right.
If that's true, then your point is valid because you could wait. But for me, I don't know, like, especially for podcast sake, I got to jump in the water, baby. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, February, March, and April, I'm buying those games. But you can choose that tier down from there where it's like, okay, maybe not though January, May, June, July, August, September. Maybe I can not buy games in those months and help go fund the new console thing. Or, man, I don't know if you got the time, but like, pick up a side gig or something like that. I know Josh Stapleton has been out getting those deals at the garage sales and then turn around and selling video games. He said that fully funded his trip to come to 300. So, maybe do a little something like that. And that way you don't have to say no to either one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Ed?
Yeah, I think we've all got those, like Gabe was saying, we've all got those games that you're like, oh man, for me, it's Watch Dogs right now. Oh man, that's the one. There are a bunch of games that I would like to play, but if there are those ones that are like that, 2 or 3 that you've got, then, jump for those and hold off.
Yeah, if it's gonna chug on your PS4 and just be a pain, then obviously don't get that game and try something else. I mean, I remember with the PS3, I still bought The Last of Us knowing full well that right around the corner was PS4. It's just I needed to play that game. I didn't care, and I ended up purchasing later the Last of Us remastered anyway. So it's like, I would if you're excited about a particular game, start there, and then see if you can't hold off. But yeah, I think it works either way.
There you go.
Chris, did you say anything? Anything to add?
I was saying that I had at least considered kind of the same thing. And I don't think there's any issue, especially if let's put the finance part aside. And there's no problem at all, in my opinion, for if money's a little tight or whatever, then just holding off and buying things like when it gets a little bit cheaper. Because inevitably, like 3 months down the road, most games are like almost half price and kind of thing. It's the smarter way to go, honestly. But I don't think there's any issue with that. And I mean, also a lot of people are probably starting to, now that this is all official, that PlayStation 5, you might be seeing people dumping PS4 Pros and whatnot in anticipation getting ready. Maybe you can get a good deal on one of those that's probably going to handle it at least a little bit better.
Yeah,
so
smart.
That's another way you could possibly go.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Greek gamer Nick Huntress. So my wife and I have different preferences for how we work best. I have to have music or TV playing in the background while I'm doing tasks or paperwork at work. Well, my wife has to have absolute silence.
Yep.
How do you get your best work done? Quiet space or background noise?
Background noise, baby.
Background noise.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ed, a lot of time is my background noise.
Hey,
I'm not joking.
mine too.
Which is weird when I'm editing the podcast, especially this last week when he was sick. I kept being like, how do I keep missing these coughs? And I was like, oh, that's Ed. Actually coughing.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I kept going back and looking at the waveform. I'm like, I don't see him coughing, but I hear him coughing. And then I
that's
realize
funny.
I've got his window up.
That's funny.
Down to the right.
That's really good.
Chris?
I don't honestly think that it matters for me one way or the other. I mean, I can have background noise or I cannot. And it depends on the task. Like at work, oftentimes I'm not listening to music because I'm listening to audio that I have to listen to.
Right.
Pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't.
Say you were doing the dishes. Would you rather music be going in the background or just the sound of you doing the dishes?
Honestly, man, it doesn't matter. I can have it and great, but I don't. There's rarely a time where I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? I really need music right now. That just. Even though I really enjoy music, and when I have it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm glad I have this on. But I just don't pay attention.
I'm telling Alexa to play all kind of stuff. Anytime I'm working my way over to the dishes, I'm like, Alexa, play whatever I'm feeling like at that moment.
Play something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
show.
awesome.
Good question.
Lucas Ham. A year ago on this day, I got stranded in the birthplace of Superman and duct tape, Cleveland. On my way home from visiting the U.S., I made the most of it by sleeping, gaming on my Vita, and watching some old-fashioned TV.
Yeah.
So my question for y'all, share about a time when you got stranded, plans were changed, or progress delayed in life, and how did you deal with it?
I got really lucky. The last time I can remember getting stranded, we were flying in and out of Chicago, and I don't remember how the band got divided up, but it was me, the girl that used to sing with us, Nerva, and our light guy at the time, Matt Waldner. And we got stuck in Chicago and they were like, hey, the flight's not till tomorrow. And we were like, shoot, really? And they're like, yeah. And they paid for our hotel and everything like that. And we just went and had it was nice because I was stranded with friends and we went and had like a really nice dinner that night. It was like, this is crazy. And then all went to our hotels and got up the next morning and flew home. So it wasn't too crazy, but it was kind of nice when life interrupts you like that because it causes you to slow down. You like have to.
Yeah.
You have no choice. And so it was kind of nice to just sit there and not feel like, oh man, I've got this is the other responsibility that I'm not taking care of. You're like, oh, well, here I am just having some dinner with friends, then going to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Chris, you been stranded anywhere?
I mean, I guess I was kind of stranded in Dallas when I was trying to fly to E3.
I was about to say that's what came to my mind.
Several hours.
You were delayed. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the only time I've had something like that I can think of.
What a trip. Gosh.
Yeah, man.
Like take E3 all the way out of it. What a trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he rolled in right before the Sony press conference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were so happy to see him. It was like it was one of those like serendipitous things where the weather is beautiful. Here comes Chris McCracken rolls up, and I think our coffee was delivered right after that. And you're like, does life get better than this? Does life get better than this?
It was perfect. It was nice.
Perfect. My gosh, Ed, you been stranded?
Mine's pretty much like yours, Gabe. It was a layover in Chicago during a snowstorm.
Freaking Chicago.
They gave you a hotel, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. You know, that's not that bad." And went to a hotel, and
could have been worse for sure.
Yeah. So it's nice.
Yeah, I haven't had any delays that long, but if that was the case, and we were put in a hotel, I'm like, yeah, wherever we're at, let's go explore. Let's go have an adventure and go get dinner and go to bed, and then we'll fly out. So I don't.
But you haven't been.
I have not been. No, Lauren was delayed. And she had to get diverted up to Louisville because of those bad thunderstorms. This was like a couple months ago. And she just wanted to get home. And so another guy wanted to get home as well, and two other people, and they all just carpooled together. He's like, I've got this rental car from my company that I can get. And so they all piled in the car and drove from Louisville down to Nashville.
There you go. That's not that far.
So it's like, yeah, it's not far at all. So you got to do what you got to do, man. If you need to get home, try and get home. If not, I do like that. What you said, Gabe, being able to just, hey, you know what? This is God saying, take your time for a second. Just
exactly.
Enjoy. I love that. Just make the most of it if you can. So, Good question. Thank you. MLX, if you had to design and market a new console, what would you call it? And what would be the one or two big key features that set it apart?
Okay, first off, I would call it the Mad Box.
Oh my gosh, you're so crazy.
The Mad Box.
Oh Lord.
It would be shaped like an M. And it would stream games and play every game at 4K 120 frames per second.
Nice.
The controller would have 52 buttons, but you would only have to use the ones you want. Everything's inverted.
50. Oh, nope. I'm not
Left
buying
is
that.
right, right is left. All of it's inverted. When you push a button, you're actually depressing it. What?
Even the
I don't get it.
controller's inverted.
Yeah, exactly. You have to hold it upside down.
Exactly. You have to actually hang upside down when you play.
You know, I was thinking about this when they announced, because the fact that it's even news that they're like, it is going to be called the PlayStation 5. I was like, well, like, what else will they call it? Like, it's got to, like, it makes the most sense. We're coming to the end of the console thing anyway. It's not like they're going to be having to worry about calling anything the PlayStation 13 or 14 or, anything like that.
The only thing that I say with that is because, again, Sony crazy, and you never know what they're going to do. I mean, Xbox came out and called their third generation console the Xbox One. If they can do that, Sony could do something crazy.
Is Sony that crazy?
Yeah, they're crazy.
Really?
Know,
They've done some weird stuff.
I think
You're
they're
talking
pretty
about Sony like
conservative.
they're Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo crazy. I don't know if I've seen Sony be that crazy. I mean, you have to remember that Xbox didn't have numbers going for it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So they went Xbox 360 for their second one, and then Xbox One for their third one. So like that one made more sense to me that like they do that. But if PlayStation was like the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation Andromeda, you'd be like, oh, come on, guys, really? But I think at the end of the day, it doesn't actually matter unless you do Nintendo Wii U. And you're like, wait, do what now?
That got confusing.
That was
big time.
confusing.
Yep.
But I think I would try to stick with. It's hard to say because PlayStation, like anything, if it doesn't get popular, it's a terrible name. YouTube, Radiohead, Coldplay, like these are all stupid names if these bands don't blow up. Bare Naked Ladies, PlayStation, the PlayStation, the station where I play, is a stupid name unless it blows up. So it's hard to even call something anything because everything's bad unless it's popular.
Yep.
Was anybody else, Ed?
And I see your Mad Box, Chris, and I'll raise you one Soldier game. And
Soldier game, yes, sir. That's awesome.
And
that's funny.
It doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do
but
anything.
The UI has a voice that sounds like you right now.
It's actually just a rebranded Chinese ripoff of something else.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it.
It's an old, doesn't work anymore car key fob.
Does it make the chirp noise too when you click it?
No, it's broken.
Yeah, it's broken.
it does nothing,
It's
man.
not working.
It does nothing.
The batteries are
That's
dead.
awesome.
You have no idea how to pop it open to replace them.
That's right. There's no seams or anything.
Oh, that's awesome. Mine is the Duke 4. And
Yeah,
I would
there
have
you go.
And I would have like 40 USB ports in them.
Yes. of
Oh,
course.
nice.
So you can charge everything.
Yeah,
I like
to your
that.
heart's content. It's just a charging station, actually.
It's really just a charging
It's an NES
station.
emulator that is a charging station.
Nice.
And it plays Final Fantasy VII, the remake, over and over and over again.
It does it for
That's
you, so
awesome.
you don't have to do it.
Exactly. Oh, that'd be nice. All right, we got two more. Lord Zukor, it was a quick fire. Here we go.
Yay.
Quick fire. Grilled cheese or mac and cheese?
Grilled cheese.
Mac and cheese.
Grilled cheese.
Oh man.
Yep.
Mac and cheese. Cup of noodle or regular ramen?
Cup of noodle.
I've
When you
never
say
had.
regular ramen, do you mean
Yeah,
like
man.
ramen from
As in
the
the brand
motherland?
ramen. It's probably the brand ramen versus cup of noodle.
Oh, I've never had cup of noodle.
Yeah, I've never had
Oh,
cup
no.
noodle ramen, so I'm going to say just regular ramen.
Yep. Raymond.
Hands up.
Yeah, I'm going ramen on that one.
Hands up.
Zambra.
Nice.
Jello or pudding?
Pudding.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go with pudding, even though I rarely have pudding. I like pudding.
Yeah, I haven't had either in forever. I'll go Jello.
I'm going pudding, man.
I'll
definitely.
go Jello pudding pops.
Hey, oh yeah, now we're talking.
Yeah, checkmate.
Checkmate.
You
That's
put
awesome.
the
Chocolate pudding. All right.
Would you like to have a drink?
No, you didn't.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Sorry.
Jeez.
I met him and he ruined it for me. He gets no respect from me.
Hashtag too soon.
Nah, man.
No, that's awesome.
He deserves it.
Edit.
Nope.
Yeah, right. Nope. French fries or tater tots?
Fries.
Oh,
French fries.
Right? That's a dilemma,
Stacey
though.
would say tater tots, but I'm going
can
fries.
I say French fries with an escaped tater tot?
Yep.
Sure. They just
With a
made it
bonus
into the
tater
little
tot.
carton.
Yeah. Do you ever
Yep.
notice that every time you get tater tots from Sonic, they always put one fry in there?
You
Yeah,
got a
or
bit-
vice
yep, you
versa.
get a bonus fry.
I want the opposite.
Yep. I
Nice.
like it. Oh, Sonic tater tots. Woo! So good. So good. I'm with
So
you on
good.
that.
Yeah. Did everybody
Ed,
answer?
you go?
Yeah, fries.
Fries. Okay. Jam or jelly?
I don't know the difference.
I'm
Jelly's more clear. Jam can have like the preserves in them. But jelly's just kind of straight up. It's kind of like Jello. It's more Jello-ish than
I'm having jam.
I'm going
I'm having
neither.
jam. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Oh, I love jam.
Lord have mercy.
Love jam. All right. Peanut butter. Do you like it crunchy or smooth?
I could take it either way, but I think I prefer smooth. It's easier to spread.
Absolutely. I don't need that hole in my bread when I'm
Exactly right.
spreading it on crunchy. Give me the smooth, please.
Man, I'll tell you. Ooh, wow.
Which one would you take?
Which one?
I only go peanut butter and Reese's Pieces. So I don't.
Oh my gosh, Gabe!
peanut butter cups.
Have you had? Speaking of which, have you had the Reese's peanut butter cups with the Reese's Pieces in them?
No. Are they amazing?
Run to Kroger because I had about an entire bag on the way down on the drive down.
Nice.
I almost ate the entire bag. They are so good. There's just there's like maybe one or two Reese's Pieces in each little cup. Our entire family is hooked on it. It is insane how good they are. Oh, so good.
Nice.
Yep. Okay. Switching gears, refried beans or black beans?
Black beans.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely black beans.
As a side, refried beans in the burrito, black beans.
Black beans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it depends on what I'm getting.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like them both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
me
I do
too.
like them both.
Yeah, both of them are excelente. All right, and lastly, do you separate the Oreo and eat the cream or eat it whole?
Eat it whole.
Whole.
Well, first off, you dump it in milk first.
Yeah,
then
I was
eat
about
it
to say,
whole.
we are skipping
Come on,
steps
let's-
around here.
Like, yeah, this.
No, man.
No,
I
man.
just eat it as it comes out the just
Exactly.
pour it right into my mouth.
I dip it in Jenny's milk, and she gets mad because a piece falls off
Yeah.
because I keep it in there for too long.
That's the best though. Like,
Yeah.
and then you drink it. It's perfect.
Ugh.
So good, so good. Get those little Oreo chunks in there. Yum. I'll take
I
it.
totally agree.
Yep.
Delicious.
All right, one more food question. This is our final one from Travis Pospastel. Strangest food you have tried?
Sausage, alligator sausage.
Ooh,
Yeah, it was delicious.
I bet. Sounds good.
Chris, I'm guessing nothing too strange.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really like an experimental eater here.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I've had alligator tail.
Oh, there you go.
Well, there you go.
That's
Yeah,
good,
That works.
Yeah, that's crazy.
or at least that's what they told me it was.
It's chicken.
Yeah.
Ed, how about you, brother?
I feel like I mentioned this a couple. Menudo. There's a soup that has like a cow stomach in it.
Oh, that's
That's
right.
right.
Yeah, we had
Yep.
that discussion. Not
Sure
the
did.
band, the actual.
Yeah, exactly.
Food.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Ricky Martin and them.
Nope. Mine is a guana tail. I had a guana tail in Curacao, and it was good. It was bony though, which I did not expect. So,
Ugh.
yeah, that's it for all the questions. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate
Oh,
it.
yeah. Thank you, guys. The question for the week for you guys,
Yeah.
have you ever eaten tail before? Just kidding. This is a fill in the blank.
Okay.
Sometimes we get stuck doing things we don't want to do, whether it's a recital or soccer in 105 degrees or a graduation that we have to go to for a niece or nephew. And sometimes you think to yourself, I'd rather be playing fill in the blank. Ed, you're at something you don't want to go to, and you're like, gosh, I wish I was just home playing.
I'd rather be playing Recore.
Oh, wow.
That's how bad the recital is.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Tim?
Right now, I'd rather be playing Borderlands 3.
There you go. I'd rather be playing Borderlands 3. What'd you say, Chris?
Rather be playing Apex.
Rather be playing Apex. I'd rather be, only because I was so jealous this last Friday, because I had a stacked Friday, and I had no idea Ed was going to do it. I'd freaking rather be playing Jackbox with my boy Ed.
Jackbox, baby. I know. I missed it, too.
I was so mad. I saw that. I'm finally started getting the Twitch emails again.
Oh, good.
And I was like, he's playing freaking Jackbox. Oh. Love it.
I was running around trying to pack, and I'm like, oh, I can't even log on.
So let us know. You're stuck in a bad situation, and you think to yourself, man, I'd much rather be playing fill in the blank. And we will talk about it next week. Thank you guys so much for being here. 369 in the books. And I'm Gabe Patillo. That's Tim Router. That's Ed Placencia. That's Chris McCracken. And we are married to the games. And we are up out this thing.